What if you were a creative person and you could marry your creative art with making a lot of money? Well, today on Communication Corner with me, your host, Gail Lewis, we're going to talk to someone who has a business that does just that, teaches artists and creative types how to make and keep their money. And our guest today is Tricia M. Taitt. Hi, Tricia.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for joining me here on Communication Corner.
Thanks for having me.
So, I know that you're a very creative type, and I also know that you have a business background, and that you've kind of married those two to show other creative types how to be good with their money, right?
Right.
Okay. And the name of your company?
It's called Art and Money Matters because I do believe that art and money both matter.
Right. That's a great title. And I know that you're really creative. What's your art?
I am a professional dancer. I dance with Forces of Nature Dance Theater throughout the year. And I also auditioned for musical theater. And last year I was in the Broadway musical Valva on national tour.
Wow. Now, is that what we saw in the opening credits?
Yes.
Yeah.
You saw footage from a section of the musical called Yellow Fever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really exciting, intense, great music, an African beat.
All of that. It was originally choreographed and directed by Bill T. Jones.
None other than.
Right. And it was a mixture of contemporary African and contemporary and modern genres of dance. So it included a lot in the entire musical. Also, there were some tap artists. But it was a Tony Award-winning musical, and I was so blessed and honored to be part of it.
Wow, and you toured all over the country?
Yeah, we did for about 6 months last year. I think over 15 cities. And that was really exciting. It was my first, Broadway type gig, and hopefully
the first of many?
First of many. That's what I hope.
Now, I don't know a lot about dance, but I do know that to dance on Broadway, you've got to just be at an apogee of a level, just an apex level to be a dancer on Broadway, right?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of dexterity and fortitude in order to hone your skills or hone your craft. And so nowadays, you can't just be a dancer or a singer. You have to be able to dance very well, move very well, sing very well, act very well, and all at a professional level. So it takes a lot of work. It's very labor intensive. You have to constantly be taking your voice lessons, going to classes, staying on top of the administrative stuff as well. So making sure you have your headshots and there's also definitely an element of relationship management and networking.
Relationship management. Talk to us about that. I would think that if you're in a business like dance or any type of artistic endeavor, that the people you surround yourself with, the people that you meet and network with, are the people who can make or break you as well.
Absolutely. They're the people that you're on stage with, obviously, right? And so you build a level of relationship with them and through movement and through dance. But then they're also your choreographers and your directors and the creative team and the people behind the stage that make you look oh so wonderful.
Right, the writers,
and the
musicians.
Musicians. And for Phil, it was very crucial because the musicians were right on the stage with us, presenting
the drums,
the music of Phil Kuti. Yeah, so it's very important to know everybody and to be respectful, and because those may be people that you work with in the future, and those may be people that call on you for future projects, especially like choreographers and directors and creative and casting directors.
And so that's really one of the ways you get hired, and you keep getting hired.
Yeah, it could be it definitely could be one of the ways. Most of us, I'm a part of Actors Equity Union, so you go the natural ways through auditions that are posted on certain websites, and you go in and you audition and you do the best that you can. You bring your headshot and resume, your professional self, your smile, and all of that, and that's a culmination of like all the hard work that I talked about before, and hopefully you get a shot.
So you're a triple threat, basically. You act, you sing, you dance. And you do all of those so well on a professional level so that you can do all of those on Broadway, which is pretty much as high as you can go in the business. There's no better than Broadway.
There is no better than Broadway, and I look forward to that day where I have my Broadway debut.
And so now, how long have you been dancing? You started dancing when you were a child?
I started dancing when I was 5 at Miss Ricky's School of Dance in
Brooklyn?
I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from East Flatbush, and I started dancing with ballet and the little tutu and the jazz shoes when I was 5. And so, you know, 5 to about preteen years.
12.
12, 13. I pursued dance, and then at another point, I pursued athletics.
Right.
And you know, when you're younger, you're trying to discover what parts of yourself that you really want to pursue. But dance kept coming back to me in college. I was part of an organization called African Rhythms. And then after business school, when I was at Duke University, I was introduced to Chuck Davis, and
none other than
the legendary Baba Chuck Davis,
Right.
and he had a dance company in North Carolina.
Okay, I'm going to stop you for just a moment.
Yeah.
Because you said a lot there. Your background in dance, you danced from 5 to 12 years old. And
Right.
then academic pursuits, athletic pursuits, all this other stuff that you were doing.
Yes.
Went to college, went to grad school, got an MBA.
Yes.
And hence that's the financial background.
Yes.
So in your background, you've got that whole artistic level that you started when you were just 5.
Right,
In
right.
the pink tutu, which I love. And then you've got the whole financial part of you, which is your undergrad degree in business, your MBA in finance.
Yep.
And then, so then you graduate
Yep.
from business school,
Yep.
got your MBA in your hand, and you decide you really like to dance still?
Well, the opportunities, this is what I mean that dance continued to come to my life, and this is why I believed in pursuing it, and that, you know, you have to live life to the fullest. And if you have natural passions and talents and gifts within you, you have a right to explore them, or you should.
Right.
There's a reason that you have those natural inclinations.
And you don't want to squander those gifts.
Right. You don't want to, because if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it.
Right.
So an opportunity came up when I came out of business school. I had an offer to go to Citigroup. So I had also worked on Wall Street for the 4 years before business school, and I had an opportunity to work with a large bank, and I asked them to defer a year of employment so that I can go and follow Baba Chuck Davis and dance with him.
Okay, so let me stop you for again. So you graduate undergrad, or you're part of a dance club.
Right, a
It's
club.
not a professional thing. It's just a dance club undergrad. Graduate, go to business school, graduate there. The whole time you're kind of just dabbling in dance on the side while doing while pursuing your education. But again, nothing professional.
Right.
And then finally, after you graduate with your MBA, you decide it's finally time to put the dance first.
Well, it sort of came like that. It sort of came in that way. When I had the opportunity to dance with Chuck Davis, it reignited something within me. But I also
Chuck Davis, for those of us who don't know, legendary African-American choreographer.
Dancer. He's the executive director of Dance Africa. Well, originally BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music in New York, but now he has it nationwide in Dallas and Denver and DC. So
you had a chance to dance with that.
Yes.
Yes.
With him, and I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah, and also we had talked about this. With certain things, there's a window of opportunity. With a dancer, there's a window of opportunity where your body is, well, like yours is, in good condition, right? Where you are at your peak. Dance is finite. You can only really dance at a professional level for a finite amount of years. So if you were going to do it, the time would be to strike.
It was. I mean, that was exactly part of it too. Dancers are like athletes in a way, right? So it's
exactly like athletes.
Your heart and passion and love could be and there are some fabulous over 40, 50 plus dancers.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to discredit them at
No.
all. But the body doesn't lie. The spirit is willing, but the flesh sometimes is weak. And so I took that opportunity to pursue dance with Chuck. And then I went and worked for Citigroup for about 2 to 3 years. And then with the financial recession, there were a lot of changes in my life. And
so now we're in 2008?
now we're in 2008, 2009. And I had already been dancing with one of his dance sons, Abdel Salam,
Harlem.
Right. Who's the artistic director of Forces of Nature Dance Theater. And I continued to dance with him during that time. And I wanted to also figure out how else I can support the arts, right? So I wanted to pursue art full-time, a dancer, lifestyle full-time. But I also wanted to figure out how I can leverage my background and my skills to support the arts, which is finance, accounting, how I can support arts organizations. And I realized that a lot of arts or performing arts and creative organizations are not-for-profits.
Yes.
And not-for-profits are, the accounting and the finance is very different from what I experienced on Wall Street. And so I took some courses, some professional certificate courses at NYU and Baruch to build that skill set. And I started consulting for certain arts not-for-profits on the side. I became a full-charge bookkeeper. And so all of those things came together and were, serving each other. And it was very interesting to continue to speak to my fellow artists and creative people who I'm in awe of anyone who can quickly adapt to a situation and pick up 2, 3 jobs.
Right.
Just quickly. But also be able to pursue their art, right? They have this right brain. But in a lot of occasions, artists, they might have some angst around numbers and around business concepts.
A lot of times you meet artists who have studied art and have not studied business, have not run their own business. They don't have that skill set. But they're all about their art.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they kind of feel maybe the art should sell itself, but it doesn't always, and that's where you come in.
Yeah.
And your business, Art and Money Matters.
Yes, I mean, Art and Money Matters came about last year. I had done financial literacy programming through the firms that I work with on Wall Street, but from a banker perspective.
Okay.
Now, as an artist, creative entrepreneur, I'm able to have a different discussion with people and identify with my audience in a different way. And so Art and Money Matters provides one-on-one financial coaching. And we also provide financial literacy workshops for creative entrepreneurs.
And when you say creative entrepreneurs, define that for us.
So creative entrepreneurs tend to be people who have either set up a business or are themselves self-employed in an artistic or a creative industry. And they allow creativity to unlock wealth within themselves. And my job is to help them realize that as they unlock this creative wealth, if they manage it right, it can engender more wealth. And that's from a financial perspective, that's from a social impact perspective, and that's just in general in their own livelihood.
Yeah, I mean, how much of an artist can you be if you are so preoccupied thinking about how you're going to pay the bills at the end of the month?
Yeah, and when I do my financial literacy workshops, I say that, I am a professional artist as well, and right. I'm not only the founder, I'm the client, right? So, as I pursue my dreams and my talents, it needs to be funded, right? And so I think of personal financial management just as a tool, just as a paintbrush. It's
like a pair of tap shoes to a tap dancer.
It's a tool and a resource for the sustainability of your business or yourself if people run themselves as a business.
Wow. So so I know that we have a slide about the actual mission of your company. So Art and Money Matters. What's the mission? Break it down for us.
Well, the mission, the intention, the belief is that we as professional artists, I'm including myself in this obviously, we as professional artists can't just be creative. We can't afford to be creative. We have to overcome any fears or any anxieties that we may have around numbers.
So the first thing is overcome.
Yeah, and I found a word for fear of money. I Googled it and looked at it, chromatophobia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a new one for
go
me.
figure.
Who knew?
Go figure. So the first part is overcoming,
Right.
and the other part is building that financial freedom.
Okay, so first you overcome, then you build.
Yes, then you build that financial freedom, because if you have $100 sitting in your bank account, you're not really thinking about your art. You're thinking about how you can pay your bills, probably.
Right, absolutely.
Especially living in New York. The third part is just unleashing your creative juices. So we believe that once you overcome and once you build financial freedom, this should help to unleash more creative juices.
Right.
And then finally, so that you could become a successful creative entrepreneur.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's really the mission of Art and Money
Yeah.
Matters. Those four parts: overcoming, building, unleashing more, and becoming successful.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's really what being an artist is all about. You can really be a great artist if that part of your life is taken care of.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just, you know, it's a matter of thinking of yourself as a thriving artist. So there's always that connotation.
Starving
Right.
artist,
There's always that
yeah.
connotation of the starving artist, which bothers me because I'm not starving.
Right.
Right?
And if you were starving, you would not be able to audition for Broadway musicals.
Absolutely.
To make yourself better.
You've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry in order to like go through maybe 100 auditions for the day, and then you juggle that with your job.
Right.
You may have 2 jobs, and you
Right.
juggle that with the fact that you have to do your own professional development on a continuous basis, right? So
Yeah.
I don't really like that terminology, starving artist. I think thriving artists all the way around is more
Absolutely.
appropriate.
So thriving in money and also thriving in all the other aspects
Yeah.
as well.
And I do want to really say this. A lot of people that I speak with in these workshops, they think that if you're thinking of money, you're just thinking of for-profit gain, and
As
the
if
goal.
art should be not for profit.
Right. And you know, partly that is in part because a lot of maybe arts organizations are under a structure, the business structure of not-for-profit.
Right. They call them not for profit.
They call them not-for-profit, but not-for-profit doesn't necessarily mean that you don't make profit. That organization makes a profit, but they put it back or plug it back into the business.
And so that's kind of what you're saying on a personal level.
Yes.
To make the money and
Yep.
then to reinvest it back in yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that you're not starving, you're thriving.
You're thriving.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed, you've mentioned the word workshops a couple of times.
Yep.
So is that what your business does? It goes out and it gives workshops to artists and creative types
Yep.
to help them better run their financial house.
Yeah, so over the past 9 months, almost a year, we've been conducting financial literacy workshops with different arts councils and different economic development corporations in New York.
Right.
And I have a 4-part series or 4-part curriculum, 4 modules that make up the full curriculum of Art and Money Matters.
And each workshop is about 2 hours long?
Each workshop is about 2 hours long. People can either hire me for a 4-part intensive, so we can have 4 of the sessions over a 4-week period, or they can break it up so that it's 8 weeks long, right? An 8-week intensive. Over the past few months, I've been doing one-off sessions, so someone will hire me just to do 1 module.
Right, and the 4
This rush.
modules are what? The 4 2-hour sessions, they're broken up in 2?
The 4 modules include 1 goal setting and personal budgeting.
Okay,
and
so how to set your financial goals?
Yeah, your personal financial goals and personal budgeting. The second one is on personal banking, just a one-on-one of fundamentals or basics of banking. The third one is on credit and debt management.
Credit and debt.
Credit and debt management. I'm sorry. And the fourth one is about the creative entrepreneur. So it's really taking that first module on goal setting and personal budgeting, applying it to the business side of their life, and I also share some like business management tactics, like how you should be constantly branding yourself, networking, making sure that what I call your marketing materials. So whether that's your business card, your headshots, your resume, your professional resume versus your performance resume, making sure they're always at the ready.
Up to date.
Yep.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of those things, a lot of those things I drew from when I was applying for business jobs, my corporate life, right? There's
Right.
a lot of
There's a real a correlation between the two. You
Yeah.
have to always have your CV or your resume ready to go. You've always,
Right.
just like in the performing arts or
Yeah.
in an artistic or creative endeavor, you've always got to have a performance resume
Yep.
or headshots or something ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
kind of married those two as well.
Yeah, you have to build relationships. I mean, I was talking about that earlier in the segment. So, a lot of these things are applicable and transferable, and so it's very interesting sitting in two different worlds. And sometimes the worlds feel like they don't meet and they have no conversation except to watch each other on stage versus versus watching each other on a new business news network. But there's a lot of similarities between the two worlds, and so that's why I thought it was important to bring it together
Yeah.
in the form of an organization.
And you've got the 3 E's, educate.
Yep. So there's the motto, the mission, and the belief.
Right.
But the three sort of things I want people to get out of an Art and Money Matters workshop or a one-on-one coaching session with me is, one, to get education, right? Education on like personal financial management. The next thing is engagement. So I would teach in a one-on-one coaching session the tools to use to help them with cash flow management or personal budgeting, and help them apply it in their life.
So the first was educate,
Yeah.
second engage, and third.
The third one is elevation, so to elevate, right? So I hope that professional artists shift their mindset from just thinking about their art and their creativity, but also the business side of what they do, and to share that with other people. So anything they learn in my workshops, if they can share that to another fellow entrepreneur,
Right.
or another fellow artist, that would be great. That would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So so that's part of your workshop capacity as well.
Yes.
And I know that you've taken some pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You were talking about how you've got to always be prepared, and you've always got to have some pictures. You've always got to have a CV or a resume ready.
Yeah.
And I'm loving these pictures. You took them as part of what?
Well, I ever so often, probably every year or two, you should probably do headshots.
Right.
And so as part of my headshot photo shoot, I know I needed some dance photos because there are all kinds of auditions. There are musical theater auditions, commercial auditions. When I say commercial, like commercial dance
Okay.
auditions. And there's, if I ever wanted to do like a fitness commercial,
Right.
or
These really
print.
show off your body.
Yeah,
Right.
so you need to be able to do that in a tasteful, very artistic way. And so I did that with most recently actually with a photographer, a friend of mine. So I enjoy that part.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoy that part. Being on camera, in front of the camera. I am a performer in all sense of the word. Whether it's on stage with family, by myself,
Or in your workshops.
or in my workshops.
Right.
Right. Because in some ways I'm also like a teaching artist, right? So I try to make sure that the workshops are engaging, and that they don't just come off as if they were, a bank or a finance person speaking to you about numbers or money, because one of the missions or intentions of Art and Money Matters is to help people overcome a fear.
Right.
Right? And to overcome that angst. So even if I get a little bit too much into numbers and spreadsheets and things like that, I try to pull it back, and make a metaphor to something else that they can compare it to in life.
I would think that it's a very powerful message at Art and Money Matters that an artist, especially an artist of your caliber, you're not just someone who sits around, playing the xylophone or something as a hobby artist, or you Broadway. It doesn't get any better than that. An artist of your level, your caliber, telling other artists, other creative types, about managing their money. I think that coming from someone like you, it's a lot more effective, that message, than if it came from just a banker. I don't want to say just, but just someone who has only studied banking or finance or accounting, that you can marry those two things. I think that's tremendous.
I think it's helpful for someone to know someone in the trenches, right? And I always give the story in the beginning of my workshops of how of how I actually came to this. So I do give the story of being in business school and then having this opportunity and having to manage much less money than I was accustomed to making.
Give us your contact information real quick.
Anyone can email me on artandmoneymatters@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook under art _Money Matters. And we're also on Instagram.
Yay.
Art and Money Matters.
Perfect.
So easy and simple, yeah.
Thanks so much, Tricia M. Taitt, for joining me here on Communication Corner. For more information about Tricia, you've got her digits and her email address. Of course, I'm Gail Lewis. You can always email me, newday2010@yahoo.com. Hit me up on Facebook, Communication Corner, or of course, just check out my website, gail-lewis.com. For everyone here at Communication Corner, thank you so much, Tricia M. Taitt.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching, and we're going to see you again here on Communication Corner real soon. Thanks. Good night.
Thank you.